In 1992, you might possibly remember June 28th, 1992, there were two back-to-back earthquakes in the Mojave Desert, a 7.4 and about a 6.5. And I started thinking, now that's more in line with what I see coming. Well, this is what really jarred me. It's an article, this is 20 years old, written by several seismologists, one in particular named Professor Amos Nuhr. He was the first one, I believe, to discover that there is a whole new tectonic plate boundary forming on the North American continent and the Pacific. And just a few excerpts, we see a whole new plate boundary forming. The San Andreas Fault line is trying to take a new route through the Mojave. Now this is the scientists talking. I've already seen this back in '88. This is '92. The scientists are saying this. You can get this copy of this article. It's trying to take a new path through the Mojave down the eastern Sierra Nevada mountain range. This gets more sobering. It will try to head north if it can, and if it can't get through Oregon, it will turn east or west to take the path of least resistance. Well, that's exactly what I saw. It's going to go east of Oregon. They're seeing the beginnings of it right here. And they go on to say it's totally replacing the San Andreas Fault line as the main plate boundary. They go on to say they used to never believe an earthquake could cause an earthquake 500 miles away and cross several different fault lines, creating one big fault line. But it's all in this article right here. Now, why have I not heard a whole national news story on this? This is big, big news. This is, I still hear Nova and different science stories talking about the San Andreas Fault line. People, Professor Amos Nuhr out of Stanton University, which he's probably retired by now, he and several others now believe that the whole thing is forming a whole new plate boundary. Well, this is exactly what I saw in '88. So for 23 years I've been feeling the anxiety about this quake. Ominous feelings about this quake, because I know it's coming soon. Now the scientists go on to say that it will be 100,000 years before it happens. It's going to happen suddenly. It's coming suddenly. It will be at least a 10 or greater on the Richter scale. It's going to be a tremendous cataclysmic event. I noticed in this article a lot of words were used like never knew that before, astonished, scientists didn't see that coming. There's a lot they're constantly finding out. Just like in medicine, things they used to believe, they don't believe that way anymore. So why am I bringing this out 23 years later? Well, all I have to gain is scoff and rejection, and I have a lot of trouble and a lot of repercussions for saying this. But I feel compelled that now is the time for me to speak out and say something. Before the earthquake hit in Virginia on August 23rd, I told my family August 22nd something was happening that week. I could feel it. I could feel it. And that earthquake happened the next day and went through most of the eastern United States, cracked the Washington Monument, and many other things. This is a very serious situation. I don't believe Americans realize how close how imminent earthquake activity is going to get in the United States. Am I saying this big quake will happen in 2012? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it couldn't. There could be precursors to this big quake. If you see any big quakes happening this year in Reno or Lake Tahoe or eastern Oregon, Washington, Sierra Nevada mountain range, that's going to tell you that it's heating up and it's trying to break loose. I do believe, with that said, that there is an unprecedented earthquake going to happen in the United States this year. I don't know where yet. Could be in the Midwest, could be in the East. I do not know. But I can assure you that there are some unprecedented earthquakes coming, I believe, one or more this year. I believe there's a wave of violence coming that's going to be unprecedented like we've never seen, to where the state police, military will have to bring it under control. Our own military would have to bring it under control. That tells me people will be in a panic nationwide. Am I a doomsday prophet? No. Do I claim to be anything? No. I don't claim to be anything. I'm just telling you, for 23 years, for some reason, I know before earthquakes happen. Sometimes I know within days, sometimes I know within a few days. But I challenge the news media, anybody in the news media, to contact the USGS. Don't just talk to anybody. Get a hold of Professor Amos Nuhr. He was the first one that I read about to see this coming. Ask him the extent of this. Is there really a new plate boundary forming down the whole eastern Oregon, Sierra Nevada mountain range? Ask him about it. Problem is, they see part of it, but they don't see all of it. It's coming, and I wanted to put this warning out, not as a scare, but just to make awareness. People bring awareness for many causes. I'm bringing awareness for this. I have a website that you can visit if you want to. It's www.earthquakesintheus.com. That's www.earthquakesintheus.com. Find it interesting that after the earthquake in Virginia on the 23rd of August, it wasn't 2 months later there was an earthquake in Oklahoma. Now that's where I was born and raised, is Oklahoma. There had never been major earthquakes in Oklahoma as far back as my grandfather could remember. They had like a 5.8. Anyway, things are heating up. There is going to be a number of major quakes around the world, not just 7s, but you're going to see more 8s and more 9s, like the one in Japan a year ago. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope to have conveyed myself in a calm manner, and I appreciate your time, and good luck.